When we were talking to Tamorrion, he was explaining a little bit of, kind of how he's tried to step up his game, I guess, to help the team the last couple of weeks and really embrace a leadership role in practice and in games. Was he going through, I know he's had some personal issues and health issues. When a guy's having struggles like that, what's the approach, I guess, as a position coach in terms of balancing, like demanding more, but also acknowledging that they're going through some tough times?
Well, it starts early on in the process, as far as, showing your guys that you really care about them. And that starts with not only giving them, the tough love and just being demanding and holding them accountable, but it's also like just celebrating when they do right. So that kind of led to the point where, Terry had a few things that he was going through, off the field, and maybe a few struggles on the field, just take them under your wing and say, hey, let's focus on what we can control. And that's, the person that helped me do that, was Coach Bowden. When he told me, don't pray for a lighter load, pray for a stronger back. It was myself for going through things, on and off the field, and some struggles, I had to be there for him, to help him get past it and take the next step and focus on the now, about what can I control, So it was, it's easy for me to do it, and it's easy to say and harder to do, but once you show that you can be trusted by young men, then they're willing to do what you say.
Hey, Coach Dugans, how has Terry's change in approach here the last couple of weeks? Has it been infectious for that room as a whole, inspiring the other receivers to try to elevate themselves as well?
Yes, sir. I think it has. You'll see it even, the week before, just all the guys, sitting together at the dinner table, communicating, having fun, having a good time. Then at practice, just seeing him do the little things. Guys seeing that he's finishing, blocking downfield, giving great effort, and other guys see it and they want to do the same thing. I always tell guys that's contagious. When a guy makes a big play, the next guy, he wants to do the same thing. When a guy makes a big block downfield, it's contagious. Another receiver wants to do the same thing. So seeing that, and he saw it also, for himself, just seeing other guys do it, in practice, and it was actually pretty cool. So, he saw it himself. Also seeing other guys doing that, maybe a young guy too. Then those guys seeing him doing it consistently, and I think that's what led to guys, being better than we were in the past.
Tamorrion, just to see him go through that and to come out on top and to have the game that he had on Saturday night, just is that satisfying to see for you as a coach, to see him kind of push through that and see that success?
I told the guys after the game, I felt like we took a step forward. I felt like we grew from that game, whether we were down or it didn't matter. I saw guys respond. I saw guys communicate. Saw Terry on the sideline getting emotional. So you saw some of the things that you really hadn't seen consistently, that game, throughout the game, and also in the locker room. It was like, wow, this is what I've been waiting to see. So just seeing him do that and grow, and just knowing that, some of the things that with his family or whatever it may be that he's going through off the field, and just seeing how he stepped up and responded, with the unit was really pleasing, to see that, and the young guys, but other guys also responding.
When you change quarterbacks, and obviously Jordan's got that great mobility and can extend plays, does that change anything about what the receivers? We talk a lot about scramble drills, but does it change anything about the approach for a receiver group, or are you guys just do what you do no matter who's back there?
Well, the thing, you still, that Jay Travis is back there, so, he may extend more plays than James, but, both guys, you still want to work your scramble drills, regardless, but you do know, like, you may have some of your RPOs or, more, a few more scrambles. So you tend to maybe work those a little bit more, whether it's after practice or have a period in practice to work the scramble drill, because a play may break down, and Jay Trapp, you want to give him an option, not only to run, but have a chance to throw the ball also.
Next will be Gene Williams from Warchant.
Hey, Coach, how's it going?
Doing good, thank you.
Thanks. Hey, want to kind of get an update on some of the young guys. We've seen little glimpses of Kentron, Brian, and then Darian Williamson. Can you tell us a little bit how they're progressing in practice, and is there plans going forward to hopefully get them on the field a little bit more?
I think those guys have been progressing mentally. Just getting the opportunity to see and meeting, studying film and watching film and really embracing and taking the coaching when I'm coaching somebody else. It's like they're taking the notes, at the same position. When we're in walkthroughs, they're following their position and getting mental reps, So don't lose those guys. Kentron, he's done really good. I think he's gotten better in the past few weeks, and I'm really, pleased to see what he can do. He's done a really good job in practice. Darian Williamson, he's come to loans that still get strong in the lower body. We're working on that, but I really do like those guys. And then Brian Robinson, I think he's a physical young man that can help us here in the near future, and I'm really excited to see what those guys can bring. But overall, just that group, they're really good young men. Guys willing to learn and guys that's willing to learn.
Hey, Coach, I know when you were a player, perimeter blocking in general was something you took pride in. The last couple of weeks, it seems like there's been a ton of growth in that area. I guess, what has it been like to see the guys improve? And maybe in the first couple of weeks, was it frustrating to see them not living up to the potential in that area?
Yeah, it was just, kind of, I'll take it myself, was the lack of, making sure we're on point, knowing where the ball's being run, and then knowing where our strength is, then fitting up and finishing, running our feet on contact. So a couple of times, it was frustrating, but I just felt like, hey, let's take a step back and let's do a better job and see what we're teaching and coaching these guys, and take not necessarily a different approach, but just make sure we're focused on one thing at a time, and I just felt like, effort was one of them, just finishing and blocking through the echo of the whistle, and focus on that first, along with the technique of finishing blocks. But I was really, pleased with the guys, and, we missed a few this past week, but just the effort, just to see them strain was really pleasing to see those guys, because they took pride in it. I always talk to those guys about the backs and the O-line. They're blocking for you, when you're catching, score touchdowns downfield. All right, return the favor to those guys, and, to the running backs, tight ends. When we don't have the ball in our hand, what are we doing? We're blockers.
Coach, it seems like you guys have tightened up the rotation a little bit at receiver. It seems to be mainly, Terry, Pokey, and Keyshawn to a certain extent. I guess, is there a benefit kind of in the continuity of having primarily a sort of set rotation that's that tight? And also, I guess, what's the key for guys like Keyshawn and Pokey to kind of take advantage of the opportunity of being Robin to, I guess, Tamorrion's Batman right now?
Well, I mean, it's when you're rotating receivers in games, part of that too goes with, whether it's personnel, the flow of the game, and that's, it's kind of like playing chess. You got to get a feel for the game and you feel like, okay, well, who's the right fit or who goes where, depending on the game, situation of the game. You always try to put those guys in a position where okay, he did really good at this in practice. This guy did really good in that in practice. So, it all goes back to it, not necessarily a Batman and Robin, but, just necessarily just playing my role and doing my job, and what am I doing when I don't have the ball in my hand? Of course, like even when I played, I knew Peter Ward, if he dropped the ball, he was going to get 10 more balls. If I dropped the ball, I maybe get maybe one or two more later, but so he had to take advantage of the opportunity, So I just feel like, those, other guys are like unselfish guys. They're not really necessarily concerned about the rotation and who's getting what, and it just, you got to build it that way. You got to build that room that way. So, because it's only one ball, and the guys know that everybody can't get the ball, So what do I do when I don't have the ball in my hand? Take advantage of the opportunity when I don't have the ball in my hand. Now that opportunity is going to come because you work your butt off, all right, when you don't have the ball to get that opportunity, So those guys have other guys, all of you guys.
All right, we'll go back to Ira for the last one.
You talked about Coach Bowden earlier, and there's reports. I guess he sounds like he may be going home soon from the hospital. I was wondering if you or Odell had a chance to reach out to him, or Ann, since he caught the virus, and just express again. I know you've expressed a million times how much he meant to you, or he means to you, but I was wondering if you've had a chance to do that again recently.
Yeah, well, Miss Ann talked to Odell, and so I've kind of been keeping the updates on that. So just still praying for him. And I know he's a praying man, God-fearing man. I know everything will work out fine for him, and the family, and really for us all. So.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.